What's up, Mr. Matt? Oh, Matt Downer in the house. Good to see you. Polska Bob. Glad I couldn't be out there with you guys. Hope you're doing well. Polska's got Rev and Cowboy and Eric and El Padrino, Scotty and his team. 5 years of freedom, kicking it in Chicago. You guys are doing good and staying out of trouble. Men first. Fortunately, wasn't able to make it out there due to family issues. Who we got here? Shadow. Batman is back. Good to see you, brother. Good to see Rev, Polska, Matt, Chris Mitchell, the Emperor from Canada. Mr. Sand here. Good to see you. I thought I would talk a little bit about what has transpired in the last few days. What are we seeing? What are we seeing? Are men's rights? Are men becoming more respected in this world now because of the decision in the last couple of days and what happened with Johnny Depp? What's happened and so forth? What do you guys think? Chris Mitchell, Hammerhand just got on. Salute. Good to see D-Man again. Good guy. Matthew's back. Good to have him. So here's the deal. So the courts reversed the decision to send it back to the states. It's funny, if you really understand the Constitution of the United States, there is no constitutional right for anybody to have an abortion. The Supreme Court, their whole job is to uphold the Constitution and interpret it based on constitutional principles. Now, there's liberal policies and there's other policies. And, it's an odd number for a reason, right? You can't have a tie. Something's got to give. So what I'm saying is this. There's no constitutional right within the Constitution that affords a woman the ability to delete a baby. And this goes back, this has probably been spoken about ad nauseum, but this goes back all the way to, it takes away the federal power because, again, the Supreme Court cannot interpret something that is not in the Constitution. It goes back to the states. The states decide. And that's about it. So even Ruth Bader Ginsburg was, even as wackadoodle she was on the same, pretty much the same line of thinking. The federal government, the Constitution does not afford that person the ability to delete their child. It is not written in the Constitution. So there's no constitutional right. So this baloney about rights is baloney. This baloney about rights is baloney. I think that's a circular argument or something. But anyhow, that's reality. Now, is it favoring men? Well, men, I think, might have more of an option. But again, it's interesting. I was on Mr. Sand here from India. Good to have you, brother. Got Polska. I just got that picture of you two. That's awesome. Good to see you dudes. Let's go, Brandon. Good evening from the UK. Good to have you in here, brother. It'll be a long and slow rebuild if the tides are finally turned. I don't really believe the tides are turning in that regards. I think maybe maybe there's an understanding coming down. I think I think that we're going to start seeing, again, everything shifts on a pendulum, right? Some things are so far left that they're going to shoot far right. It's just like in election cycles and so forth. And I think again, if you take a look at Roman's empire and how did Roman fall apart, the greatest civilization ever known to mankind fell due to hedonism, liberal thinking, just everything that was a shit show. And they fell apart because of it. Now, what are we seeing in the United States and the world, basically? The same kind of issue. Skittles movement is controlling everything, and so forth. You go back to 1969. Shout out to Jerry here. Where's Jerry from? You go out to 1969, Ronald Reagan signs no-fault divorce in California, which he had mentioned was the worst thing he could do. Now, what happened with that no-fault divorce? Let's really think about this. Feminism started creeping in probably 10, 15 years before that, right? Feminism, women, the equality piece, great. He signs no-fault divorce. What does really no-fault divorce mean? It means literally stripping away fathers and men's rights from the access to their kids, the servitude to paying absurd amounts of child support, alimony, and what have you. All right. So we got the feminism going on. We got now the no-fault divorce, which strips men even more. And then you've got now, 3 years later, 72, Roe versus Wade, which strips the man again of his input into if that child should be born or not be born. So within those span, let's just say span of 10 years, 1952, span of 20 years, let's just say 52 to 72, man was basically canceled. And it's taken 50 years, if not more, to get to this point. Now, are men still being canceled? Absolutely. Absolutely. The only way to beat, and if you can, and if you have enough money to beat or to protect yourself in a court of family court law, it's going to take a lot of money, and it's going to have to take the biggest and baddest, most successful attorney to beat that person. Because the majority of cases, 90% or more, are won by the man's ex-wife or baby mama. So we're seeing, does this give me hope? Who knows? Who really knows what happens? YYJ in the summer of '69. That's right. Good old Bryan Adams song. Let's go, Bryan. At my local hospital, I've seen several signs discussing how 1 in 6 men suffer DV. Glad the government is finally taking notice. Well, it's true. There's a lot of women that, and men, based on ego, based on who's going to believe a man if the wife beats him up? Come on. Matt Down are probably the worst thing since women burning their bras. Absolutely, brother. MGTOW Life, our brother in California, our brother that rides an Indian. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Get out today. Thomas Newton, good to see you, brother. Scarlet Letter says, hi from the UK. We got a couple guys from the UK in here. Or gals. Rad, you and Saunders were killing it on his stream. Well, what's interesting about that? I mean, you can't let your boys, if you have boys, you can't really just tell them what the red pill is and make them follow it. They've got to fall down and get back up. They're going to have to get their heart broken. And then when they realize those things, then they can hopefully not get in the situations in their 20s and 30s and get married and have kids and then be alienated and divorce scraped. They have to understand that, and you make certain comments to your kids, why is she always on her phone? Why is she always posting 3 times a day? That's weird. That's why we don't do that. We don't need, why does she delete the picture if it doesn't get a lot of likes? That's weird. Throw kind of things like that. Why do they wear so much makeup and fake eyelashes and fake extensions? Start helping, ask them why and how questions. That's the key. Good to have you, D-Man. This Roe versus Wade, like fish roe eggs waiting in the water, is just a distraction. The Depression 2.0 will come before Christmas. Stay ready. And I think you're right. I mean, I think there's a distraction going on now. There's the financial calamity that's happening, the high rise in gas prices and food prices. And, we got to be ready. And I think the red pill gives us a way to live, which is based on, we want to put our health ahead of everything, that both mental and physical health, our financial health, our spiritual health. And if we can get all of those aligned, we can have a great life. We can get through anything. We don't need much to live on. Okay, you can learn how to fast and remove your addiction to food on little, people live on 500 calories a day. People sometimes skip days. It's actually better for your health to skip a day or two, because your body will heal itself, right? So anyhow, I agree with that. It's a distraction. MGTOW Life says, I'm torn. Babies will not be killed. Okay, great. Men will burn in family courts at unprecedented numbers. Not so good. I agree. It's an interesting world we live in, MGTOW Life. And knowing what we know now, how do we decide to live, right? How do we move forward? You definitely, you have to be of the mindset that, number one, we can prevail. That's number one, accepting the fact that we will overcome anything and everything that is put in front of us. And then to believe that and to minimalize how we live. Minimize the things in our life, the toxicity in our lives. Find peace, quiet, and freedom. Peace, quiet, and freedom is not a mountain of things. It's not a mountain of money. It's not a mountain of food. Peace, quiet, and freedom is literally, for me, it's on my bike. It's going up 5 miles and sitting on a tree stump and just listening to the birds and knowing that I got up there and the breeze through the trees. That's, to me, peace, quiet, and freedom. It might be MGTOW Life riding his motorcycle, hopefully not out to Lancaster, but, with the breeze on his neck, so forth. It could be, what have you, Rev out hiking, Polska, delivering flowers or something. It doesn't, you have to find a way to have that peace, quiet, and freedom. And you can get through everything. We were born with nothing, we die with nothing. Can't take it when you leave, right? And I always think about this. When people start talking about the calamity, banks are going to fail, everyone's going to be gone, everyone's screwed. I say to myself, look at the Amish. The Amish have lived around. They're still around 2022. They don't use electricity. They grow their own food, build their own houses, make their own clothes, and they're still living like the 1600s. They'll be affected in a way, but they're going to be self-sustainable. So we can make it through. We have to be prepared. And I agree with YYJ. We have to be prepared, and we have to be prepared mentally first and foremost, physically, financially, spiritually, and emotionally. Jumping in the ocean, La Jolla, and a steak dinner, listening to the ocean. It's all I want. Peace, quiet, and freedom. Our forever bachelor, Timmy Kramer. Attaboy. And whatever it is, guys don't need a lot. Our counterparts, our counterparts need to feel at every second of every day. They need those things to make them feel better. Men need peace, quiet, and freedom. That's it. Less talk, more chirping of the birds, more roaring of the waves, more wind in our face, more wind through the trees. That's all we care about. We don't care about buying something on Amazon. I tell people this, I'm off my segue. If you want to get into a business and make a lot of money, just for the sake of making money, like you could care less if it was your passion, sell to women. Like, go invent something that makes them look younger or makes them happier or something, right? Women love wine. The wine manufacturers are killing it. Women love cats. The cat food people are killing it. Women love makeup. Every day there's a new makeup line. Oh, this is organic, natural, make you look 10 years younger. They'll buy it. Hell, you could buy pillowcases. You don't get wrinkles when you sleep at night. Buy silk pillowcases, $100 a set. They'll buy it. Women are the majority of spenders in our world. They spend 90% of all income. Men don't. Men buy a motorcycle. Men buy a truck. Men buy tires. Men buy hand tools. Men buy boots. One boot will last us 12, 15 years. And so forth. Anyhow, that's my rant. Surf Shack says the end of the world has been coming since the beginning of time. Correct. Correcto mundo. Now with these sentient AI robots that can think and feel, what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years? MGTOW Life says Roe versus Wade, it's more important than ever to be careful around women. Yes. And the guys out there preaching they have 1,500 lay count, some PUA guy. Can you imagine the women that see that? What is going to happen to the guy? Again, risk versus reward versus risk, right? Well said, MGTOW Life. YYJ sell weaves. Sell weaves. Women may be victims of commercialization because they only externally validate. Correct, Scarlet Letter. Correct. Internal validation is more along the lines of men. External validation is along the lines of women. An emotional masculine, an effeminate male seeks external validation. That's blue pill. Needs external validation. A red pill, internal validation. And a red pill understands the reality and says, I'm going to live my life and navigate understanding the reality that I don't need anyone to validate me. I validate myself by doing the things I like to do, getting in shape, getting in health, getting my finances in order, getting my spiritual life, whether it be you're into some sort of, if you believe in God, if you don't believe in God, if you believe in Buddhism, if you believe in quantum physics or metaphysics, whatever grounds you closer to your existence is what I'm talking about. And again, mentally, accepting life. Hey, I accept the fact that we live in a world that's not favorable for men, but we can navigate that. By how? By removing risk. How do we remove risk? We don't get married. We don't cohabitate. We don't have kids. We're very cautious of the women we keep in our world. And, we don't get in situations that could potentially derail us. Simple as that. D-Man 50 says women do 90% give or take of consumer spending. 100% right there, brother. Singletown Bachelor's back in the house. Good to have you, brother. There are still traditional women in many other non-Western countries. RAD gives a 1 to 2% of the women out there as good bona fide women. 1 to 2%. 98% RAD does not recommend. Did I say they're bad? No. RAD does not recommend 98% of women, especially social media women, especially women that grew up with Kardashians, reality TV show. I think people will, said technology screwed it all up. Yeah, technology did, but you know what really screwed it all up? Reality television. Right there. Going back 25 years ago to reality television. All over TikTok, women are reaching out to other women. Come to me in my state so you can. Life is life, man. I just can't understand why people. It's like it gives them the right to delete whatever human life. That's in my world. If you look at what to take someone's life in the dictionary, it starts with an M and ends in an R. M-U-R-D-E-R. I just don't understand that. Sir Shaq, don't live your life in desperation. Live it to enjoy. Words of wisdom right there, brother. Thomas Newton, Patriot nurse, went on a RVW rant. She mentioned MGTOW in passing. Most of her rant was on women being more responsible with sex and relationship. She had to include a slandering of men at the end. I mean, it's always the men's fault, right? Go to family court. It's the father's fault. It's the husband's fault. It's always deflect and blame, deflect and blame. That's the only playbook they have. Just deflect and blame to males. Males are toxic. Me too. Deflect and blame, deflect and blame, deflect and blame. But we saw something different in the Johnny Depp trial. Now, Johnny Depp's gotten really weird. I still believe he's a great actor. He's a great musician, by the way. He plays the slide guitar. Amazing. But, he's made some stupid mistakes, some really colossal mistakes along his life. And however, I give him kudos for actually going after and trying to clear his name. And he spent a lot of money to do that. But is it a win for men? It shows that women are not all believable. That's what it shows. The evidence, the world believed Johnny Depp. They didn't believe Ms. Heard. But you're absolutely right, Thomas. We're seeing that. Again, women do not create babies. Men do not create babies. Babies are created by a man and a woman. And the mother is the vessel that carries that baby. You cannot have a baby without a man's DNA. Pedro Valentin is back. Good to see you. FJT, our in-house Giga Chad, just got finished watching Eddie Curry interview on Vlad TV. He talks about how his wife was getting over $1 million in alimony. Jeez Louise. And she still wants more. So glad I never got married. You became a millionaire overnight, FJT, by not getting married. You know what, guys? The reality is not the fantasy. That was one of Rad's principles. Once you understand the reality, which is red pill, you'll understand that the fantasy is blue pill. That's as simple as that. The fantasy does not exist. Disney is made out of cartoons and Mouse and Gumbo and Goofy, and it doesn't exist. Reality says these are bitter truths, and these bitter truths lead us to a better life. Well said, FJT. Would you ever forgive a woman who fakes a pregnancy for not losing you? Yvonne Alessandri. Any woman that deceives me is never forgiven. Any woman that disrespects me is not forgiven. You tend to remove those people from your life. You can never, if a woman disrespects you once and you forgive her, she'll do it again and again and again. And potentially on the male side too. If a man disrespects a woman, he'll probably disrespect her again. I mean, disrespect is disrespect. Depends on how you label it and how you categorize disrespect. But for the most part, a woman that cheats, lies, tries to get you in trouble with the law, files orders against you, there's no coming back. Lies about certain things like this. These are serious issues. So no, but great question, Ivan. Great question. A lot of guys do. A lot of guys will forgive the woman's bad behavior. They'll apologize for her bad behavior, saying it's his fault. That is the blue pill mind. Technology is a tool that further enables and exposes what lies deep within. That absolutely, D-man. That's pure gold right there. Technology, I'm going to read it again, is a tool that further enabled and exposed what lies deep within. It's like a mental gold mine machine. It's mining the mental and emotional delusion of people. Well said. That's great. It's a great quote right there. They say my body, my choice, and don't even mention the child is also the father. Female solipsism 101 in action. Female solipsism for 300 Trebek. This is what Timmy Kramer says. Young men, make money and save money. Enjoy life and your freedom. Never take women serious. They only take for men. Ask Timmy Kramer how many of his friends are divorced and how many have been married multiple times. It doesn't get better. RAD recommends no marriage, no cohabitation, no kids. RAD recommends only 1% to 2% of women in the world. They're extremely difficult to find. Extremely difficult to find. 98% are not recommended. Those women, 98%, will make your life miserable. They will take from you. They will potentially make you so depressed that you delete yourself. Why? Female nature. Female nature, 100%. 100% rad. I don't tolerate a woman disrespect me no matter how good she looks. I don't even argue. I ghost them forever. Well said, FJT. You got to remove the toxicity of your life immediately. And I was listening to Greg Adams, and some guys might not like Greg Adams, but it's funny. I'll bring up a topic of conversation, and literally a week later, he's talking about it. He might watch my channel. I watch his channel. I give him complete kudos what he says. But he said the other day, I was listening to a live stream, and I watch them all on 2x speed. He said, look, if it's my sister, my daughter, my mother, if they do anything that disrespects me, they are cut off immediately. And that's how you have to live your life, regardless of the relationship, whether it's blood relationship, maternal, paternal, you cut them out. That is how you deal with life. You have to take that attitude. No more, no mas. Right? Timmy gave me good advice for sure. I spoke to a woman at work and explained how men have no rights when it comes to baby deletion. I said to her that men should have the ability to pull their wallets. My wallet, my choice. Deer in headlights. Look, I could just imagine. I could just imagine MGTOW life. Then she said the government is not fair. Yeah. See, again, if it doesn't roll their way, it's the man's fault or the government's fault. Now everyone's mad. Now I cannot believe that the Supreme Court, the highest court, and basically in the world, if you think about it, they're yelling at them. They're disrespecting the court. The president is disrespecting the court. Like, it's a Supreme Court. Their whole job is to maintain the Constitution is intact. There is no cause for baby deletion, any right within the Constitution that gives a woman a right to do that. So it's non-constitutional. It's non-constitutional. All they're doing is saying, if it's non-constitutional, the federal government does not get involved. It goes back to the states. Yeah. There's some wackadoodles on the Supreme Court as well. But anyhow, in the end, they're the final say. Funny, MGTOW life. That drives me nuts. Thankful every single day I never took the plunge. Every one of my old school buddies is divorced. Every single one don't get married. You smart man, D-man. You're just watching it. All you can do is give them a hand to help up and, help them out and let them know that you're there. But most guys will go back into the plantation immediately. Michael Fulton, unfortunately, religious institutions are doing nothing to combat feminine toxicity. I think most of their base is women now. A lot of women in religion. So if they upset the base, they upset the money that come in. Remember, follow the money. Most religious, there's very few religions that will literally take a hard stance. Pentecostals, maybe. Evangelicals, that's about it. Mormons won't do it anymore. Catholics, very few Catholics. There's one, I was watching some Catholic Pope talking about, he was more libertarian than he was going off on his own Pope. But anyhow, you're right. I would agree with that. In times of war, the laws fall silent. Yeah, that's another thing. When war comes and all the women don't know what to do, they're going to come running back to men and be submissive and co-pilots. No. They'll play that role. I'm going to say that again. They will not become that. They'll play the role. And when that movie's over, they will revert back to who they were and with the programming of the entitlement princess destiny syndrome. So no war is going to switch. This situation is unfixable, literally. It would take generations to fix, going back to the 20s, the 1800s, and so forth, where man was considered the pillar of society. But it ain't going to happen anytime soon. And it's not going to happen in my lifetime. Shit, my lifetime, who knows if we're going to be around in 25 years when these we become robots' pets. Because they'll do everything. FJT, they'll say you just didn't pick the right one. 80% of them file for divorce. Over half of people get divorced every year. Billions of dollars generated in family courts. These people are delusional. And the only way you win the game, folks, this is a superpower, is to not play the game. That's it. You win the game when you internally validate yourself and you don't jump in to the bloodbath that is marriage, cohabitation, and children. You are not on the right side to be victorious. How about that? Now, I'm glad I went through what I went through, because if I didn't go through what I went through, I would be blue pills. I wouldn't understand. There's part of me that understood the shit show of marriage, but I would still be on the plantation, still trying to make someone happy that I couldn't make happy. So did it suck going through it? Absolutely. Now women objectify themselves, just rough them up with a recorded consent and go on your way. Keep those text messages. Keep those text messages. Almost all interactions with women can subject a man to litigation. Follow the money. And whatever you do, keep your money under wraps. Don't go out flashy. Don't be like that. Someone will come out of the woodworks from past in your life. Be the guy that is literally nobody looks twice at. Not the fact that don't be healthy, but just live your life with peace, quiet, and freedom. You don't need the distraction. Have nice things, but don't be gaudy and flashy and like that. It's just, no, that's not red pill. That's another person seeking external validation from others. Now, am I opposed to Porsches? Absolutely not. I think Porsche 911, I had a Porsche. Porsche 911s are beautiful cars. Now, would I get one? No, I've already had one. Or I had a 912. And I love my 4Runner. You know why? Because I can sleep in the back of it. It hauls my bikes. It's wonderful in the snow. It's wonderful in going up mountains where peace, quiet, and tranquility. Driving a Porsche is so damn difficult. You have to literally, you're like driving it on the ground. You've got to step into it. And they're great in fourth and fifth gear, but driving in a city car, no, they're very difficult. So forget what people say. It is not a daily driver. Now, if I had one and would love to drive to Park City once a month with it, absolutely, it'd be great. But it's a waste of money. And it's another thing I don't need. Again, minimalism is where I'm at. Rising Strength is back. Hello to the red pill community. Salute to you as well. Matt Downer says having a minimalist wardrobe doesn't hurt either. Yes. Yes, in fact, I'm going through my t-shirts. I got to figure out which ones I'm going to get rid of. And have shoes, have a pair of hiking shoes, have a pair of comfortable tennis shoes. I've got a couple pairs of boots that I like, black and brown. And just be minimalistic. We don't need a lot. Simple as that. We don't need a lot. Women in America care too much about themselves. It's them first and men second. Ooh, that is absolutely the truth. That is actually the truth, my friend. Most of my male coworkers come in complaining about their wives and girlfriends every day. I'm coming into work calm, peaceful, and rested. Silence is golden. FJT walks around with a smile on his face, knowing he is not an actor in anyone's shit show. Love it. Driving a Porsche is like driving a semi-truck. They ain't hard. They are not easy to drive. They look cool as hell. I love how Porsche looks. They just are so classy, but they are extremely difficult to drive. Extremely. Amazing to drive, but they're difficult. We're just talking about where man fits in society and how man can prevail. That's all. Matt Downer, I'm doing the same thing, thinning my wardrobe. You don't really need much. 6 t-shirts, couple dress shirts, maybe 1 dress shirt, couple flannels. Depends on where you live, of course. Couple pairs, 4 pairs of jeans, couple pairs of shorts. Even go commando. That's even more minimalistic. I love my RAV4, runs like a little tank, great for astronomy trips, and people don't even give me a second glance when I drive it. There you go. And that Toyota, this is why I love Toyota and Lexus, is because they're amazing cars. They're a little bit more expensive, but they will run forever if you take care of them. They're extremely well built. I've had the European cars, I've had American cars, and I just believe that the Toyota brand. I had a Honda. Hondas were good. I don't think they're as good as Toyota Lexus brand, and I believe that Nissan Infiniti is now owned by since the 90s, mid 90s, Renault, the French company. They've had a lot of issues, but before that, Nissans were great. Nissans were great. Is she blank's best advice for dealing with lawyer retainers and family court? You want to find the biggest and baddest bulldog lawyer that knows everybody in the court system, that has a track record of winning, and you pay him as much as he wants. That's how you do it. Simple as that. Do not get some friggin' idiot that got out of law school. Do not get someone. Ask him, how many cases have you won? How long have you been in business? Who do you know at this courthouse where the court documents will be filed? Do you know this judge? Do you know that judge? Yes. You ask them everything. They have to know the game. It's all a game, guys. It's simple as that. And it's a business. You just find the best lawyer that wins cases, and then you pay him how much he wants, and you'll come out ahead. Well, you'll have the best odds of coming out ahead. Good question, Ishi. Scarlet Letter, seeing an increased number of women in the UK being prosecuted for child abuse, drunk driving, bankruptcy, violence, stressful areas men are now being occupied by women. They are suffering. Well, we're seeing a turn. We're seeing what the mental state and the emotional state of all these head meds, external validation techniques is causing to women. The divorce, the feminism, it is lied to society. That's why you're seeing it. And it's going to just increase. The annual maintenance bill on some of those high-end cars is more than you pay for most economical vehicles. Correct, D-Man. In fact, they say it's easy to own a Porsche. The hard part is maintaining it. Just the brakes to get Porsche brakes are like, just the brake pads, I think, are $900. You can buy a set of brake pads. I bought Toyota OEM brake pads for $50 for the front, $25 a piece. For $900? No. Jerry Carney, I've been traveling the country and gave away a ton of stuff. Travel light. Good for you, brother. Minimalism. A nice turkey and Havarti sandwich and a nice drink and some chips, kettle chips. Robert A. from Texas is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well out there. New Chrysler Jeep Wagoner is priced at $89,900. I saw that. In fact, one of them, I think, Timmy, with the grand one, The Grand Wagoneer they just came out was $119,000. Who's going to buy that crap? Don't tell me. Would it be our counterpart that makes her simp husband buy it? I remember I bought my 4Runner for 29 grand, 4 years old. Had 60,000 miles on it. Well taken care of, the limited leather, everything. Thing still runs like brand new. And I'm thinking now they're going for, I think new 4Runner is probably 60 grand, 55, 60, which to me 30 grand was, I didn't want to spend more than 15, but you can't get crap for under 15. I mean, you can, but high mileage and so forth. But now they're seeing cars $129,000, $149,000, 6-figure cars. Who would have thought that? Crazy. The society is totally backwards. Women despise boredom, reflection, and boredom is used to punish prisoners. In the tribal way of life, there's danger just beyond the bushes. Well said. Well said. Keeping it tuned up is hard. Hell yeah, it is. And expensive. Has anyone seen an increase lately in women advocating ethical non-monogamy, polyamory? Not sure if women are making a good argument for marriage in that case. They got to do something. Michael, they have to do something. Good to have you. They have to do something. A car can cost less than $80,000, but the ownership cost, if we add in, becomes a lot. People don't tend to see the full picture. Yeah, gas, oil, upkeep, depreciation. You're looking at what? Now with gas where it's at, 40 cents a mile, 50 cents a mile. I had a very special day today. Went grocery shopping, went out in nature, worked on my roof, and did yard work without anyone nagging or using manipulation tactics. Oh my gosh, FJT, that is like a miracle. Very peaceful day today for FJT for 300 Trebek. For you. Working 40 hours a week is exhausting, and when men come home, they just want to chill, which is totally boring for women. Living in a tribe, you go hunting, which is fun and dangerous and builds relations. The only way we excel as a man is taking chances, and some of those chances will be dangerous in a lot of regards. But as long as we accept the opportunity to take that chance and to improve ourselves, and you can go to the gym and start getting in shape and lift too much poundage at first and pull out your back. I mean, there's danger in everything. But if you start one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, you'll be fine, right? Well said. Well said. Car status used to be a guy thing. Now it's a girl thing. Isn't that a great demonstration of how the gender roles have changed? Oh, yeah. How about all the women driving pickup trucks? I knew a gal that bought a Ford Raptor. Don't understand it. Don't understand it. Just really don't. Why? External validation. You go, girl. Eat, pray, love. You go, girl. You be like the man. You be like the man. You go, girl. They want to play in men's spaces, I guess. I'm sure the auto dealers love that. Men don't forge brotherhoods anymore in our toxic society. A lot of men that even when you go, when you follow this path of understanding what reality is, which is the red pill, you're going to lose friends. I've lost multiple friends. I've got friends that are blue pilled and they think I'm crazy. It is what it is. Let's go. Brandon says petrol and diesel per equivalent to $2.50 per liter in UK. We are being screwed, rad. Yeah. I look at the gas prices. What I filled up. I only put a quarter of a tank in today because I was down a quarter. Was it $5.50 a gallon? $5.59. And I'm thinking, it's $2 more a gallon, really, if you think about it. Maybe $2.50 more a gallon. So I paid an extra $15 for that quarter tank, which is an extra $60 for the full tank. But it's out of control. It's all planned too. I believe it's all planned, so forth. Is Utah a peaceful place to live? Yeah, it's great. Mountains are 2 miles away. I love the mountains. It gets hot, there's water. I'm kind of in a drought right now, but it's a beautiful place. Park City is amazing. It's always 10 degrees lower in Park City. So if it's 90 here, it's 80 there. In the trees, it's 75. Come visit. Let's go, Brandon. Is that $10 a gallon in the USA? 4 liters to a gallon, yes. But in MGTOW Live, he fills up for what? $7 in his tank of Indian with a 1.5 gallon tank. My stepbrother and his wife have been separated for about a year now. He's still trying to make the marriage work. Meanwhile, his wife has him on child support and getting her back blown. That, you know what? Men live in the fantasy. They think they can get that shit back. It's over. I mean, it's really sad. And then if they did get back together, it'd still be over. They're only in it for, I know a friend's brother did this. They split up and then he's like, oh, she's all fixed now. No, she's not. She's just waiting for the next game changer, whether it's a new baby or he makes more money, to now take him to the cleaners. You see, it's the divorce is on deck. She's in the batter's box. Singletown Bachelor gasoline is $17.49 DKK. I don't know where that is, but damn. Robert, I'm about 20 minutes from SLC. 18 miles, easy, on 75 mile an hour. I can take the train and it gets me there quick. I just walk downtown. In India, gas and diesel prices are out of control as well. Well, it's everywhere. It's just it's a great reset. Is it conspiracy? We're seeing things happen, and that's where it's at. But this has been a great stream. You guys are awesome. And here's the deal. Thank you, Wrenches. Remember, peace, quiet, freedom. Be minimalistic. Understand that the tides, we're not going back. The programming's already there. And just be the best version of yourself. Work on yourself. Accept yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and emotionally. Understand that you have a superpower and go use it. Get out. Go and find opportunities in life. Go and be minimalistic. Get rid of toxicity out of your life, to those that disrespect you. And believe, more important, it is great to believe in a topic that we are strong, that we can do the things, we can recover, we can rebel against defeat. And that is why I started this channel, so I could connect with other dudes and women that understood this, that understood that whatever we've been through, we can help people. You know, the boys that are in Chicago right now, they never met each other in person. They're having a great old time. What, 10 of them out there hanging out, going to ball games, just getting to know each other? These are where strong friendships happen, where people really understand what you're going through. A stranger that lives in Arkansas has more of a connection with you than his own brother. That, you know, come from the same deal. Anyhow, shout out to everybody. Let's see, we got Mr. Banco 81. Go Sure is back. Appreciate all you guys. Go out and have a great Sunday. Rebel against defeat. Chase excellence. Masculinity. Men first.